Welcome everyone to GeoWeek 2023. My name is Madeline McNabb and I'm the Director of Business Development here at GeoCue. And today I'll be presenting on our updated line of TrueView technology. So just a little bit about our company for those of you who do not know GeoCue. So GeoCue was founded in 2003 with an initial focus on developing kinematic LiDAR production software tools. In 2009, GeoCue acquired Q Coherent software, which is now LP360, which we still actively develop today. In 2017, we began our initial focus on drone hardware technology with the release of our Loki system. In 2019, we released our TrueView line of sensors, which I'll be talking about today. And then, as I mentioned earlier, in 2022, we combined forces with a company called Microdrones. And so now there are really three different products under one umbrella, MD Group. So we have GeoCue, LP360, and Microdrones. But today's focus will really be on our TrueView technology. So why do we feel like we're the leaders in LiDAR mapping? So we're really taking into account that we come at it from many different angles. So obviously with our background in the software side, we often sell software tools into many different companies. We sell hardware into many different companies. So combining both the hardware and software expertise allows us to be a one-stop shop for many of our customers. So as you can see on this slide, we have a wide range of customers ranging from really large engineering firms. We service many of the departments of transportation across the country. And we even service customers as small as two-person survey and engineering firms up to multi-thousand, multifaceted engineering firms. So we have a lot of expertise in a lot of different areas, and we're really proud of this list. So often at GeoCue, you will hear us refer to our technology as a 3D imaging system. So what do we mean by that? So when we decided to design our TrueView system, we wanted to take a few things into consideration. We didn't just want to build a drone LiDAR system. We wanted to build a dual-use system, so a drone LiDAR combined with RGB cameras. So all of our TrueView LiDAR systems are integrated with cameras. So some of our cameras have two cameras and some have three. So what's the benefit? So because we have our systems rigidly mounted with both the cameras and the LiDAR, we're able to do what's called ray tracing, where we take a point in the point cloud and drive it back to the camera images associated. So what you'll see in this slide right here is the red lining across the roof, and also right here you can see the red doors present, whereas a traditional system that might have a LiDAR mounted with the RGB camera, where they're just draping the camera image over top of the LiDAR data, will take the highest point and colorize every point below that the same color, and so you lose a lot of the color that you see actually with the TrueView system. So another main reason why we put a really big focus on the cameras with the LiDAR system. So when you have just a nadir or one single camera, you have a very small field of view typically. So you might have 55-degree field of view or 70 degrees field of view. So all of our LiDAR systems have a 120-degree field of view. And so we decided to do the two cameras so that we would have the full swath of the LiDAR data overlaid with the photogrammetry so that, again, we can do that ray tracing technique. So here you'll see everything in red is the LiDAR field of view and everything in black is the camera field of view. So on a sheer nadir camera system, there would be a large area that's not covered with photogrammetry. Whereas our TrueView system, with 2 or 3 cameras, we have the full coverage of both the LiDAR and the photogrammetry. So that's really nice for efficiency. So you can do one single flight, collect LiDAR as well as photogrammetry, use it for colorization, but also generate a highly accurate ortho. So when thinking about getting into drone LiDAR, or maybe you're already in drone LiDAR, you'll often hear important specs thrown around. So accuracy and precision being some of the most common. So very, very important. So we kind of divide up our systems by different performance levels based on the sensor that's integrated. So we have our 400 level systems, 500 level systems, 600 and 700. So the sensors that we integrate differ in terms of accuracy and precision. So when we talk about beam divergence, what we're talking about is really the size of the spot on the ground. So we kind of have two separate categories of sensors. So we have multi-channel systems as well as single beam scanners, and that really impacts the precision and performance of those overall systems. So for example, the Pandar XT, which I'll be talking about, it has a much larger spot on it. So that's going to create a little bit less precision than, say, a Regal system that has a much smaller, more precise spot on the ground. It's going to do a little bit better for canopy penetration as well as many other things. So again, as I'm going through this conversation, as I'm going through our product lineup, you'll hear me refer to them as multi-channel systems versus single-channel systems. And I'll talk a little bit as we go along, but I at least wanted to give you a bit of background on those terms. All of our TrueView technology is integrated with the Applanix position and orientation systems. So Applanix is owned by Trimble, so a very well-respected company in this industry. So now to the meat of today's presentation, our TrueView lineup of sensors. So here are our core TrueView products that are available today. So our entry-level system is our TrueView 435. Our next up is our TrueView 515. Our newest system, the TrueView 535. Our TrueView 655, 660, and our also new sensor, the TrueView 720. So starting out, the TrueView 435. So this system is integrated with the Hesai Pandar XT system. It's a 16-channel system capable of 2 returns, and we typically see between 3 to 4 centimeters of vertical accuracy performance with these systems. So a common question I get asked when I'm talking to people who are looking to acquire a system is, what type of applications are these systems good for? So for the TrueView 435, we typically find that these sensors do great in light to medium vegetated areas. So if you're just looking to generate a topo, you don't have really dense canopy, the TrueView 435 typically meets the bill. Moving up to the next system in our lineup is the TrueView 515. In 2022, this was our biggest selling system. It kind of meets a lot of different applications. It's quite literally double the point density over the 435. So when you think about it from that perspective, it's like having 2 435s in one system. Just like the Pandar XT that we integrate with the 435, it's still made by Hesai. The only difference being this is a 32-channel system. You're still going to be in that 3 to 4 centimeter vertical accuracy range, just like the 435. But again, because of the increased point density, it's going to do a much better job getting beneath dense canopy. Also does a better job of picking up on power lines. So the 435 and 515 are both multi-channel systems. So when we go back to that spec that I showed on a previous screen, a bigger spot, so you will have more peak-to-peak noise than what you'll find on some of the higher performing systems, but we have a lot of algorithms in our software LP360 that do a really good job of cleaning up the data and handling some of that noise. We're super excited to announce the release of our TrueView 535. So this is one of our new sensors to the lineup. It is integrated also by a sensor built by Hesai, but this one is the M2. So very similar to the 515, but what you'll find with this is it adds a third return, which increases the ability to get points beneath the canopy and pick up some understory points. Additionally, it adds some range and precision over the 515. So we're super excited about this. One other thing to note on the 535 is it's quite a bit lighter. So from an efficiency perspective, you should be able to fly these for a little bit longer if you're mounting to something like the M300. One other thing I forgot to mention too is it does have a larger in-track field of view. So this is really, really nice for being able to pick up vertical structures a little bit better. So think power line poles, also think facades of buildings. Our latest version of Regal Minivux technology is our TrueView 655, 660. So this is integrated with the Regal Minivux 3. This system is integrated with 3 cameras. So you have the dual obliques as well as a nadir-facing camera. So this is really, really nice and was a high demand from our customer base. You have 2 choices with the 600 level systems. You can integrate them with the Applanix 15 or Applanix 20 technology. So for the APX 20, what you'll find integrating that is it improves heading accuracy on the systems. We spec these systems at 2.5 centimeters or better RMSE. So a class of its own is our newly released TrueView 720. This system is a beast and the data does all the talking for itself. So this system is integrated with the Regal Vux 120 system. It is integrated with 3 cameras. We actually have one sitting over in our booth if you want to take a look at it. But it quite literally is 8 times the point density over the 660. So this is especially valuable if you're doing things like power line mapping, because it just does a really good job of picking up on really small infrastructure that you might find in things like power lines. And on the next slide, I'll show you a kind of a comparison between the 660 and 720. We spec this system at 2.5 centimeters or better RMSE. It is a bit heavier, so this system is not capable of mounting to the M300 like all of our previous systems. But in a few slides, we'll talk a little bit about platforms that you're capable of integrating this system on. So just incredible. You can see on the slide here, this is the same flying parameters. So on the left here, we have flown the same flying plan, but with the 660, a single pass along the power line structure, and then here with the 720. So you'll significantly notice a difference in terms of point density, picking up those power lines and poles. So I'll save this one for a presentation happening later today at 2 o'clock. But we are also introducing our Accuracy Star technology. So this is a smart target for automatically correcting TrueView point clouds in 3D. So we're super excited about this new addition as well. So talking a little bit about drone platforms. So our TrueView 435, 515, 535, 655, and 660 are all capable of being integrated on the DJI M300, which is quite impressive. But oftentimes people have various different reasoning for not wanting to integrate on DJI. So we work with many different partners in the industry, many who are here today. So we've integrated this system on the FreeFly, Harris, Skyfront, Inspired Flight, and also our sister company, Microdrones. So we handle all the integration, taking into consideration things like adapting for power, also making sure that the landing gear doesn't obstruct the view of our sensors. So if you'd like to consult with us in terms of integrating our sensors on various platforms, we're happy to have that discussion with you. All of our systems are PPK systems, so they require having our recommended setup is including a single base station on site. So you'll set up your base station, you'll collect your base station data while you're collecting your TrueView data. You'll take it into our software to get correct position and orientation from the system. We don't have a specification in terms of what type of system you have to use for the base station. As long as it's L1, L2 with the ability to export a Rhinex file, that's all our system needs. And then, of course, we would recommend having a base rover kit if you want to survey in checkpoints. So going back to GeoCue's background being in the software side, we think it's absolutely critically important that when you're selecting drone technology, that you pair that with really, really successful software processing, because what is hardware without having the appropriate software tools to process your data? So all of our systems are integrated with our own software product, LP360, which makes it quite easy that you come to us, you get a sensor, and then we pair it with LP360 as well as training. So questions to ask a software provider is really the depths of what that software tool can provide. So what we've tried to do, and you'll see this in the coming slides, is we've tried to combine many different products into LP360 to really streamline that processing where you're not having to bounce between multiple different products to get to your end result. So I'll cover some of the highlights of the tools that we have in LP360, but keep in mind, this is a really, really large toolbox of tools, so it has many different applications. I'm just gonna hit on the high points today. So after you've collected data from one of our TrueView systems, you'll flow into LP360, and from within LP360, you'll process your trajectories. You also have the ability to use our strip align tool to do flight-to-flight line adjustments, as well as our module for photo, LP360 photo, which will allow you to automatically generate orthos from the system. And then I'll again cover some of the downstream products that you'll see on the screen today. So LP360 is known in this industry for QA/QC tools. So there's a robust tool set for being able to quality check your data after it's been collected. This is also really important if you're doing services work. Oftentimes your end customer might want to see something like this accuracy report that LP360 generates alongside your data. We have tools for doing automatic classification as well as manual classification. So obviously most common is ground. And then we've added a lot of tools for more finite classification, which I'll cover a few of those today. For all of our AutoCAD and CAD users, the ability to go from grid to ground is critically important. So we've added a lot of tools to make that process quite a bit easier. Additionally, we have a lot of tools for surface modeling using break lines. So this is a manual process, but one that our customers use all the time. Our software allows for easy generation of DIMs. So that's a big use case, as well as contours. And then we have a lot of more advanced workflows, such as classifying buildings, power lines, performing volumetrics, so cut fill, as well as automatic stockpile tow calculations. We have tools for automatically extracting rail, including top of rail. Again, as I mentioned earlier, we also have a tool built into LP360 for generating orthos. So this is quite nice to just do a quick ortho and not have to hop into another software product, as well as strip align for doing flight line matching. In addition to what we support on the TrueView side, we also have tools for supporting guest sensors, so really DJI products. So we have tools for supporting the Phantom 4 RTK, the new Mavic 3 Enterprise, as well as the DJI L1 and the P1. So this is really just an added advantage to having LP360, is that if you're using a DJI product for photogrammetry or LiDAR, you have all the tools for doing post-processing here as well. Additionally, we have a viewer license called LP360 Explorer. It's actually quite cool. So because our systems are co-calibrated with the LiDAR and the camera images, we have the ability to click a point in the point cloud and drive to the camera images that are associated, which makes easy work of QA/QC or inspection of your data. So it's a highly sought after tool and feature that we have in our software. So I don't want to kill the later presentations, but we will be presenting later today at 3 o'clock on our new power line extraction tools, as well as the new vegetation encroachment tools that we've added to the software over the last year. So please join us if you can today at 2 o'clock for a more in-depth analysis of those tools. So super critical to being successful with any system is certainly training. So we think that's a very valuable piece for getting people up and running successfully with our systems. So every month we offer 2 training options. We have an in-person training session at our office in Huntsville, Alabama. It's 2 days. We cover field use as well as post-processing in LP360. We also offer the same training virtually every month. So we hope you'll join us for that. And you don't have to have actually bought a system to attend the training. It's free, so if you want to use that training as a way to demo and see the products, you're welcome to join us. So in the need of calibration on these systems, so the systems go through a 3-phase calibration before they leave our office, but if for some reason the system falls out of calibration for any reason, you do not have to send the system back to us for calibration. We just simply upload a flight plan for you to fly, and we recalibrate the data remotely. So that's just a really nice feature that we offer through our support. So with that, I will conclude today's presentation. We have another presentation coming up at 1:30 on improved multi-cycle processing for TrueView and microdrones payloads, and I hope you'll join us. Thank you.
Thank you for attending this mini webinar. If viewing on GoToWebinar, please use the chat function to submit your questions. If viewing elsewhere, please click the Talk to Sales button or link in the description or on the page where this video is posted.